showtime.
OnlySlabs.
Hey there, comic book friends and fiends. It's Rob here in front of the Great Wall of Comics, and it's time, folks, for Only Slabs. And it's not Only Slabs unless, of course, I have my partner in crime. I don't know why it went straight to that window. The one, the only, Chris the Comic Vet. Team Only Slabs, baby.
Yeah,
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I am feeling great because
Okay,
I actually got a good amount of sleep last night.
nice.
Even some co-ed naked cuddle time. Yes.
TMI, Rob. TMI.
Not with you. Who was with Mark? Anyways,
the
no, I went to the post office yesterday and pulled up the carload of packages that went inside. I said, where can I drop off over 50 parcels with prepaid postage? And they go 15. I said, no, over 50. And I guess pull around the back. So pull around back, got off. So everybody's packages are out except for the Australian contingent, which I'm waiting for a few things to come. They're coming in midway, but otherwise, yeah, C3 is almost behind me. So I'm done with that. Happy that, again, a big shout out to everyone and anyone who had anything and everything to do with whether it was donating, sharing, just socializing it, whatever. Awesome. We look forward to next year. But let's drive on. It's spooky time, my favorite time of the year. So I'm excited. We're gonna have a special show tomorrow. Chris won't be here, but Tylox the Mighty will be joining me, trying to fill in for Chris the Comic Vet.
You'll be fine.
But we know he's got a black cat.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
So Tylox will be joining me when next week we have Dope Comics, or not next week, tomorrow, during a special Halloween episode of Only Slabs at the same time of the day. So mark your calendar. Dope Comics on. But today is today. And today's guest, Mr. Comics 89.
Hey, go guys.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I had a relaxing morning painting as I was waiting for the time to arrive here. I like to paint, so.
Painting artistically or painting walls?
Artistically, I'm doing a recreation of Amazing Fantasy 15 with my twists.
Oh yes, I've been seeing those posts.
That's right.
So
phenomenal. Because I don't know, maybe you were helping Chris paint some walls or something.
My walls are fine.
I'd like to put something back there.
Right? I mean, you'd think that the man would use a green screen if nothing else. He's got just a beautiful projection.
Other people do that, man. No one does this. No one.
For a reason.
Just saying. Trademark.
The reason why they don't do that is because it's mugshot preparation. People don't do that.
Ooh, that would be good. Just horizontal lines back there. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
What if we can
keep going, guys? Keep going.
Guys,
this is
great
entertainment for everyone watching.
I need you guys to superimpose some black lines behind Chris the Comic Vet. Let's hit that in post. All right. Like I have a production team here ready to do stuff, right? Oh my goodness!
They don't know this is a Jackson Pollock behind me. Let them talk. All right, let's go.
Is this white period then?
That's disturbing. So no black lights.
Yeah. But anyway.
Oh my goodness gracious, man. All right. Well, before we get into the comics, it's the thing that we do every week. And every show does it too, but we're the only ones who will call it out. It's time to play Romper Room.
Romper Bomper, Stomper Boo, tell me, do. Magic Mirror, tell me today, did all of my friends have fun at play?
Well, El Green Machine is here. He can't wait. He got here before the notorious Las Crucius. Inconceivable.
What happened?
It's true. Lucretius was probably watching 7 other streams.
No.
But Chop and Drop's there.
I'll give him that
too. So, they're all there. Gene, how good day to you, sir. How you doing? Sold Twice. What it do, Pikachu? Indeed. Mr. Comics 89, of course, is here. He's right down. Right there. Anyways, let's see. Sector 2815. How you doing, Paul? Let's see who else we got here. The real James Willie, as opposed to that fake James Willie that's been running around. Let's see. Mad Spidey, how you doing? Thank you for being up and awake with us. We always appreciate you, along with Trev, the shipping guru. I see you. The king of all nerds, Mr. Taylor Winder. I hope you did it in your underwear. Let's see who else we got going on. Johnny Fives Live. Hey, how you doing from Texas? Appreciate you. Let's see here. We got yeah. So an artistic Chris, apparently. I don't know what that meant. I don't remember what that was in reference to. But let's see. Dale of Suspense. Good day to you. The wall brings out your eyes, Chris. Don't let them tell you different.
Thank you, Mark. You're the best.
The dark spots amidst a great white nothingness.
These are lovely
Blue Hellion Comics. It is Slabber Day. Thank you for mentioning that. We should get that as a hashtag going.
Put that on a coffee mug.
Yeah, really. Maybe we will.
Yeah.
Who knows? I have to negotiate with Blue Hellion Comics though for its right.
Just put his logo on one side of it. Yeah. He'll be all right.
Let's see. Anybody else? Gene, Trev, Mr. Comic. All right, I think we got everybody who's here with us right now. Excellent. So, it's Saturday. It's Slabber Day. Matt's got himself a wall of books going on behind him, but stacks ready to go, and he promises us limited saga.
No, that one's not Slab. So
No saga. He's telling us no saga. So awesome.
Yeah.
No, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just we were
Yeah.
talking backstage. We were joking about something.
Yeah.
All right, sir. So why don't you introduce yourself, and then let's kick off what these people really came to see. Some hot, sexy slabbing action.
Name's Mr. Comics 89. Yes, 89 stands for the year I was born, just to make these two guys feel older than they are.
Oh, Fred. I was in grade 9.
Yeah, but I started collecting late, actually, 2018. I mean, if I realized that what I was reading when I was younger was actually comic books, I would have been into comics. But I was reading, those little graphic novels and Reader's Digest or whatever. But because they were novel format, it never crossed my mind that it was comic books. And so it was after I got into individual issues, because you can basically boil down my collecting story into Harry Potter, tattoos, and Leonardo da Vinci. That's how I got into comic books. My love of reading, my love of artwork, and staring at a wall for hours while I got a tattoo and realized I want that. So
I'm interested to see how that goes. All right.
Yeah. So because my LCS that I used to go to was a tattoo shop as well. So literally, I was staring out the door, looking at slabbed comics, going,
interesting.
Yeah. So that's my story.
Yeah, I hear the comic book shops combined with different things before, but I don't think I've heard the comic book shop tattoo shop.
Yeah, definitely very interesting there. But I live predominantly in the superhero area of comic books. I like to say I'm 97% Marvel, 2% DC, and 1% everything else.
Okay.
That's basically it. And I live in Silver Age and newer, with one exception, which you'll see in just a second here. But
sure,
that's the quickest story I can tell you without going into a longer show than you will probably want.
Well, hey, we'll find out as we go here, right? So
yeah,
let's take a look. What do you got? Let me put you into a position of power.
Awesome.
There we are.
Well, the very first slab is the very first book I bought as a single issue, and what got me into comic books. It is Action Comics 687 in a CGC 9.2, the die cut variant. Collector's issue.
Krypton is back. Yep.
Yep. The Return of Superman. Very good. I can remember that era very well.
It's apropos. I said apropos that a comic book story, even if you're a Marvel fan, that it starts off really your story starts off with the first superhero, really.
Yeah. Well, I was a Superman hero as a kid, and it only changed when I got older. I was getting this tattoo touched up when I was staring at this. So that's where I got stoned, which is like the red, the green. It was just, I want that. Right. And I went back later when I had more money after getting the expensive tattoo, and it was still there. So that
Awesome.
is the very start of my collection. And I thought, well, if I'm going to start with Superman and all that, I really need to have the very first issue because I can't afford a real one, but I have the Loot Crate reprint.
Nice.
Nice.
So that way I can at least have a graded comic book of Action Comics #1. So I have it in raw format here. I didn't buy the facsimile because I already had this one, which just seemed irrelevant to get the facsimile when I already had 2 or 3
But you get the
reprints of it
original
myself.
ads and everything else.
Yeah, well, it's like if I do, it's not like they're going to disappear anytime soon. They'll still be around.
A lot of those Action ones, whether it's a reprint or a facsimile, actually hold a little bit of value to them. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of respect out there for the Man of Steel.
Yeah, like I said, it was my favorite childhood superhero, and then I just realized, like I said, I'll get into more story there. But because Death of Superman is my favorite story arc, that particular story arc, the Death, World Without and Reign of Superman, it is my all-time favorite, probably run in general, period. And I had to have this issue. Superman 75. It is double signed by Dan Jurgens and Brett Breeding here. So
I will admit that I've actually on occasion perused the looking out for a 9/8 copy in a recent, just because it even though I'm not a Superman guy and I don't have it, this I remember, this is one of those books that you remember when it came out. And even though there's a ton of them out there, which is nice because it makes it an affordable book, you're not necessarily buying it as an investment, but it's a moment in time that was important in comics in reality, and really kind of drew a lot of attention to comic book collecting and events that were going on. So yeah, I'm unfortunately I don't have a copy in my collection right now,
yeah,
but it's on my radar to eventually find a copy.
yeah. I had bought a CGC 9.6 blue label, but I just it bugged me because my original goal was to collect the 4 intros of Steel, Superboy, those guys, and whatever, and then this issue.
Yeah.
And I think, but then it's just that 9.6 bugged me a little bit. It's going, if it was going to be my favorite issue ever, I needed to have a 9.8, and I bought it signed by Jurgens in 9.8, and then recently, actually, 2021, Brett Breeding went to a Colorado Springs Comic Con near me, and I was going, I can have him sign it. And also, it's like I cracked him, had it signed, and going like 9.8, 9.8, 9.8, just because.
Yep.
There's always that chance, when you crack it.
Always that chance. Yeah.
I would have kept it. I would have kept it at a 9.6 and just bought another 9.8. But I was just like, 9.8. Thank God.
And so was the Jurgens, so when you bought the book originally, it was a CBCS book originally?
No, it was a CGC originally. But
did they list on it that it's still witnessed, or did they put it as a verified on the label?
It's witnessed Dan Jurgens and Brett Breeding. So what I did basically is I took the slab there to CBCS. Right. They cracked it and all that, and then we included the original slab label with the book going down there. So
good to know.
Well, because CBCS used to do that, and then for a while they stopped. They had announced that they were no longer going to recognize CGC witnessed books as witnessed because now artists can send in the books themselves or something, and it doesn't have to have actually been witnessed in reality. So there was some talk about that for a while. I don't know what their 2021 is not too long ago, so I wasn't sure what their current situation was, and that's good that they did that for you.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have bothered me too much anyway, because that's one of those things where the signatures will add value, doesn't increase it astronomically, but so it's like a personal collection book that's never going where. If I had to pick a top 10 favorite books in my collection, that book makes it, just because of what it is. Now, this next book here, like I said, I live in the Silver Age and newer, but I wanted at least one Golden Age book.
Your collection lives in the Silver Age and newer.
Yes, that's where my heart.
Okay.
So what I wanted to do is going like, well, what character do I get? And I'm not kind of saying like, well, Superman's my favorite superhero as a kid. I need to get a Superman Golden Age book. And then well, like, okay, do I have Superman or Action Comics? And I decided to go with Action Comics because it appeared before Superman did. So I found this book, and Action Comics 124. It's either the issue right before or right after Superman flies for the first time. So
yeah.
My goal is complete. I got it running.
Chris loves Golden Age action.
So
Mhm.
it was
old
signed.
Superman. That's tugs at my heartstrings.
Yeah, it's got a Norman W. Hilton Jr. stamp, kind of name stamped right there.
Yeah, okay. Very common. People would.
Yeah.
So cover is reattached with tape on interior, but like I said, I couldn't cared less what it came back as. So it got this completed my quota of one Golden Age book, because like I said, I live in Marvel and Spider-Man now. That's my favorite superhero now, because of I just get along. As an adult, the responsibility, the struggle, Spider-Man's where it's at for me, and so it's just I needed this. So
what does it say in the right part of that on the upper slab there?
It says first appearance of Steve Carter, G-Man.
Okay.
So I have no idea ultimately who that is. This is going like, okay. But I like the yellow cover. I like Superman going down like that. It's just
that's awesome.
Yeah, really cool. And just the old back artwork.
Yeah, get yourself to the range. Let's go shoot some guns.
Yeah, you're Red Rider. So
and what's crazy is how cheap they were.
And now we move out of Marvel, or now to DC into Marvel. So I didn't mention this at the very beginning. I own a complete collection of Amazing Spider-Man from the very first issue to every issue coming out, and including, well, I'll say that a little bit later. But so I was very happy and excited to complete my Amazing Spider-Man run. I was inspired by Reggie Collects, on YouTube here, and he inspired my love of Spider-Man. That's how I got into him. So I watched the 90s show beforehand, but this was the last issue I needed to complete my collection. And it is issue 654 in a CGC 9.8. So I got it from eBay, but it's actually turned out the guy actually watched a few of my videos, so it's almost like I had a personal connection with the person somewhat to complete my issue here. But it's really cool. It's the
No, go ahead. I was just looking at that. So is that Scorpion on the cover, right? I'm seeing the
yes.
clear.
Yeah, sorry.
All of a sudden, it's just sparking my attention. It's like the new one of the alternate covers for the new Miles Morales relaunch has a very similar cover to this issue going out. Interesting.
Yeah, it's the death of Marla Madison Jameson. Flash Thompson becomes Venom. Scorpion and Spider Slayer appearance. So 9.8, like I said, it was the last book, so I went big and all that. Yeah. So, and I got a 9.8 just because
it's interesting that you get the complete run of Spider-Man. You're talking about all the way back to this origin, right? Silver Age. And this is the last book that he had to pick up was a 600s book. That's
I tried to get the biggest books. I tried to get the biggest books quickly, and there was a certain period when I had like 70 books left, where I said I need to get the first 10 done, because those are only going to go up in value and get even more crazy. And if I get the first 10 out of the way, I can breathe easy and spend less later on.
Wise man. I wish I had done it that way.
Well, I'm like a dog with a bone. It took me only 1,250 days from the time I started trying to actively collect Spider-Man to getting the full run. So I'm a master at finding the deals and turning a penny into a dollar and just getting things in there. So I don't know how I did it. If you asked me to repeat it, I don't know if I could. It's one of those just like, wow.
Oh, wow.
But,
impressive. All
right. This is another one of the issues I mentioned earlier, that a few of these issues are just sentimental in regard. I bought this issue just after COVID started. It was just certain things of marking time period of marking things. Just like it's a period in my life, so I wanted the issue. So it's Spectacular Spider-Man 176, the first appearance of Corona.
Oh yeah, that was a book that got like people were going after.
Yeah, so like COVID's affected our lives. Why not get a book that has it in it, in a sense.
Yes.
So it's just like, it's one of those things. It's like, going, yeah, I broke an arm, so therefore I bought a book with the guy with a broken arm on the cover. Or just one of those things. It's
Yeah.
just like it's a time period in your life. You know, it makes no sense to anyone else but me.
Well,
And
it's
then the
not just
values.
you, because that book did see a big surge in people during the beginning of the pandemic that were going after it just because of that. There's
Mhm.
the name Corona, even though completely she didn't make you sick and have problems breathing.
Yeah. I'm actually planning on I'm thinking about breaking this one out of the slab here and sending it back into EGS, just see what their new cases are like, because like I said, this is only a sentimental book,
Right.
not particularly love, and this is the older CBCS case. And so I'm in love with the new cases. The old cases are like, ugh.
Yeah, I have
So,
the news. I have a new EGS slab on the way to do a review on. I should have it pretty soon. So I'm anxious to see it.
not 100%. I've read every issue as I bought it, but if they're already graded like 25, I had to wait until I bought like an omnibus or something like that so I can read the story. So I've not technically read every single issue, but I own every single issue. So it's my weird process and my thinking. What can I say? So
It's all right. No,
All good.
I will be first to defend anyone and say, hey, you can collect something and not have to read it.
yeah. All right. This is like, I think this is like the only one of two books that is not Marvel or DC in there. This is actually one of the first two books I had signed in person. Is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles '95. It's a second print, first appearance of the Jenica Turtle. No, I'm a Become Turtle. It's signed by
Oh.
Kevin Eastman.
With a nice little remark.
Was a nice little remark. Yeah.
Yeah, he was at the very first con I went to, and so I was like going, "Oh, he's there." I loved I loved the Turtles as a kid. As an adult, it's like they're cool, but I'm not Burke in love with the Turtles or anything like that. So, but I was like, well, and I came back at 9.8, and I was happy about that. I like the cover, the back end cover. So, I am a Mary Jane guy because I love the redhead.
Because you're right.
That's it.
And she was married and all that. So I'm a Mary Jane.
He's Mary Jane all the way. Yep.
Yep. And they're still married, in my opinion, because you can erase the timeline, but you can't erase the books. They're published. They are married, period. But
now, so now he can't erase the books. Then she's married to somebody else right now, which is
hey, more love for everyone. Just kidding. Just kidding. But anyway, so
yes,
I only have a handful of turtle books. Like I said, it's just not. It is what it is. I bought a few and I read the stories, and then it's just one of those things of I'm trying to save money, and so I just dropped the turtles because it was more of a love as a kid thing. I played a Ninja Turtles kind of game on the original Nintendo when I was young and was being babysat by somebody who had a system like that still. It was a fun thing. And here's the other book I had signed at the exact same con. It is Amazing Spider-Man 294, The Death of Kraven, signed by Michael Zeck. Right across the chest there is where I wanted it.
Yeah! Chris is at the Remy controls today.
Nice.
That is my favorite Spider-Man story ever told. The interiors and the covers are all legendary as far as I'm concerned. That's the next part of my life I'm going to be working on in 9.8. Little did I realize that issue right there where Kraven takes his own life, that is a big dollar book. And 9.8 is going to cost you above $500 at this point now.
Nice.
And yeah, that entire storyline, it's for most Spider-Man fans, that's top 3. For me, it's number 1.
Yeah. I wish I'd brought the other book, the WebHub, where he's crawling out of the graveyard, but I don't think I bought that book yet. Or I could have bought the book, but I just didn't at the time. Yeah. But this is like
I had that on a t-shirt, and as you say that, Rob is going to reach for Peter returning.
I would have had him sign that if I'd owned it at the time. Of course, I would have had him sign one other book nowadays, but again, I will show that book in a second because I actually have that book over here. All right. Incredible. This is another one of those books where I had to have at least one of these books in my collection. I bought this one on purpose, and I said, well, if I'm going to have a double cover in my collection, it needs to be an Amazing Spider-Man book because on principle. So I bought this, and it came back in an 8.5 CGC. It is number 185. Both covers were 8.5s.
Very
So,
nice.
and this is the only time I maybe one of only 2 times, but I got the custom label on there just because I wanted it at the time. So
Yeah.
really cool.
Double cover book. Very impressive.
Yeah, and I got one double cover book actually in the wild recently. It was a Static Shock book for that 6-issue mini thing or whatever. It was like really cool. When I discovered it, I'm like, this is double covered, awesome. Because I didn't buy, because I have my books shipped to me. I don't have an LCS near me anymore that I can go to because of differences between me and the owner's girlfriend. She's a real witch to be in the spirit of Halloween. So so I had to buy my books online now. But so when I got my double cover in the mail, it was interesting because I didn't select that book. Obviously, it's very cool. So got a question for you guys. Who's your favorite Batman? Actor or in the comic books? Who's your favorite
I was
Batman?
just like, well, there's only
I
been
said
one.
Bruce Wayne. I mean, well, there's been other Batmans.
Yes,
But there's Dick
Uh,
Grayson's been Batman, and there's Terry McGinnis, and there's been Azrael, and
yeah.
Commissioner
my-
Gordon, and
For me, it's been Michael Keaton, and a very close second has actually been Affleck.
Yeah. My favorite Batman is always in the comic books has always been Terry. I just love the black suit, the red, and I like the whole Bruce as the mentor and the head, kind of thing. I just loved it. And so I had to have this book. I first came across it in a dollar bin, for, kind of thing. It was in rough shape and cover was detached or whatever. So I had to have this book in a high grade as possible. So I bought it from a guy, Batman Beyond Comics on Instagram, and it came back in a CBCS 9.8. But remember what?
It's a big book.
nice.
And
big book.
Yeah, Six Flag variant. I wanted to get the Six Flag variant because this is the issue that I found in the dollar bin all those years ago, and so I wanted that particular book just because,
Yeah, no, that was good in a 9.8. That's really good. I mean, I have the copy I have is just has the blank down there.
Yeah.
It's just the promotional giveaway, whatever it was. But
yeah, I love the father-son relationship mentorship. We find out later he's father-son.
the father clone or whatever esque. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my favorite Batman just because of the longer ears, the red and the black are just cool, and like Edna from the Invincibles, no capes. So I'm just that's my Batman.
No, he's a great character. I love what they've done for the most part with Batman Beyond.
Yeah. This is the very first book I sent off to get graded that came back in a 9.8, and I was shocked as heck because it had a ding bend in the corner, and so it was kind of like like a folded up a little bit. And so when I had it present, I didn't expect a 9.8, and so when I did the unboxing video, you saw me going like, like holy hell. But it's Silver Surfer number 44, the first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet.
Wow.
It's just really, really cool.
Incredible. So what does it say in the top right corner about that then?
Yeah, it says first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos and Drax appearance. Direct editions include Tiger Electronics insert. But because it's a newsstand, it's not so I don't know why they put that on the label if it's not a direct edition, but
exactly.
This is what you don't have.
A label candidate then if it doesn't have that insert.
Well, it says it's only for direct editions had the insert.
No, I mean for the direct editions. If it doesn't have it, would the purple label that book?
Yeah.
Not purple, no, but
Okay.
green label.
Green
yes.
label, sorry, yeah.
But yeah, it's just I like the artwork, and I got a few Silver Surfers and issues, but like I said, just things that were periodically, just it's one of those things where like I try and get into something and find out I'm just not 100% into it. I'm more into key appearances and things like that. But just I like the artwork on this cover a lot. Just Thanos makes always makes a cool cover. All right.
Yeah, it's interesting though. Some of those things like that we talked about.
Sorry about that. I had an alarm set for today that I didn't turn off, apparently.
Inserts and some of those other things are really weird when we start talking about those and how they affect the grade on a comic. Because, like, I actually got a book back recently that's a 9.6, and I went to look at the grader's notes, and the grader's notes on why the book came back a 9.6 was simply that the free digital code was the coating. Not that it was peeled off, but there's a coating over the top of it that was slightly rubbed. So they dinged it down to a 9.6 over a freaking peel off on a free. I mean, that's freaking insane to me.
Yeah, that is interesting. All right. This book actually came to me from England, actually, or United Kingdom. This one came from overseas. I had two books that technically came from overseas. This one is one came from Hawaii that I'll show you guys next time I'm on OnlySlab. But this book came all the way from the United Kingdom. It is Sensational She-Hulk, and what other book, better book than would be number 40. Yeah.
That was a book that blew up big for a period. I had a 9.8, and it got to the point where I couldn't help myself, and I had to sell it. I couldn't justify holding on to it because I sold it for like $800.
Yeah.
And it was like exactly. It's like you just at a certain point you just got to go. Okay, if somebody's going to do that, I will separate them from their money. Right now, of course, that 9.8 is worth half that today.
Yeah.
Where it is, but 9.0. Look at that 9.0. There. That's still a $200 book
Mm-hmm.
in the current market.
Yeah, and just being a guy, I had to buy it for obvious reasons. I just had to, just like I couldn't say no when I found that cover. It's like I had to have it.
Oh, it's the one they talk about all the time, right? The jump rope and naked.
Yeah, and I actually think I got this for like $40 shipped. So I actually got it cheaply overseas, international book, before I realized it was an overseas book too. So I'm surprised I got as good of a deal as I was. It's like amazingly deal for me.
Yeah, how that book shot up 2 years ago. A 9.8 was $200.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It hit its peak at $800 a year later in July of 2021, and by July of 2022 it was down to 400.
Nice, awesome.
There's the rapid rise and
the
fall. The bubble.
Yeah.
Well, not just the bubble combined with the hype building up to a show,
Mhm.
then the show coming out, and
Yeah,
cool down effect. Yeah.
I love that show. I felt it was a perfect representation of what the sensational books were about. I just love the show. I bought this book before the show came out, and I actually technically I didn't buy it. I traded a first appearance Adam Warlock in a 4.5 CBCS and a second appearance a 5.5. You know, it might seem like I didn't get my value worth, whatever, I got short or whatever, but to me this book was more important than those books. I'm not an Adam Warlock fan,
Right.
but I'm a She-Hulk fan, so it was worth the trade to me.
Mm-hmm.
Since Savage She-Hulk in a 9.0
Nice.
newsstand edition.
Nice.
So like I said, it didn't cost me a penny. I just traded 2 Adam Warlock keys for it. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I found it actually at a flea market. There we go. Don't know why it took me so long to get that word in, but
Sometimes, yeah, no, right.
But yeah, but I loved Savage She-Hulk, and I like it a lot. Just the female characters I like in comics. There's just something about their personality most of the time. I just like them.
Okay.
All right. This next book here is a very, very new book, a new book for Spider-Man, and it's a variant cover, and I bought it because I did an ancestry DNA kit, and I found out I have a little Native American in me, about 6%. And so when I saw this book, I had to buy this book, and it came back at 9.8. It is The Amazing Spider-Man number 52, which is Legacy 853. But it's the
right
Native American Heritage Month kind of
Right.
thing. So
Is that book came out last summer, wasn't it? Like, what's the release date on that? It was last summer, wasn't it?
It says 1/2021.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so it's one of those things where I like the cover spoke to me because of my recent connection that I found out I had some Native American history or blood in me that I didn't know about. It completely surprised me. My wife has a little bit too, but I'm going like, I don't have that. I know half my family. They wouldn't do any kind of in their history. They're not going to do anything like that. So that surprised me that I had this history behind me. So I had to buy this book because the connection just as it's not worth anything much, probably more, other than 40, $50 kind of thing, but it's worth it to me because the connection I have to it for obvious reasons. All right. Now, you mentioned before the whole value of facsimiles. This is one of the 2 facsimiles I have that are slabbed, because it all started with the first family of comics.
There you go.
So
that's what we've given away, a few facsimile copies of those. That's definitely one. It's for a long time. It's been $100 to $140 book in a 9/8.
Yeah, I keep on wanting to send in or buy a Hulk 181, kind of things, because I'm never going to actually probably get one at this point. I mean, I came this close to be able to getting a Hulk 180, but by the time I could have bought it, someone else had already bought it. So I was like, I missed it by a mile. But so
yeah,
really,
the 181 facsimiles, you got to watch those because there's actually second printings of the Hulk 181 facsimile, which are
the black and white
if
cover
you care about value. But
it's got the Ross back cover. That's nice.
Yeah, very interesting there. I mean, I like Alex Ross, and just really cool. Things are interesting. All right, and being a Spider-Man fan,
it has that Ross cover on the back, and they call that one of the facsimile.
That's what I came out with. Yeah, facsimile edition reprint.
Have you ever looked at the back of the ones you have, Rob?
Yeah, mine don't have that. Not the facsimile.
I don't know, but like I said, what a Spider-Man fan would I be if I didn't have Amazing Fantasy 15 and facsimile?
Yeah.
I couldn't even wait. I couldn't even wait to send this book off and hope I got a 9.8. I said, I'm spending the money. Give me the 9.8 now. And at CGC, the first time somebody appeared on eBay with the 9.8, I'm like watching it for it to show up, and then bought it the second I could.
So now what you got to do is you got to be on the hunt for the facsimile that doesn't have the barcode on the front.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. I'm going like, there's one. I'm trying to find it now.
Yeah, they go for about $400.
Okay, so here's a quick trivia question, guys. The original AF-15 on CGC, it's now the most valuable comic book that's ever gone to auction. Do you guys know what the grade is on that particular AF-15?
Isn't it like a 9.6?
It is. That's it. Rob got it right.
Yeah,
it's a 9.6.
3.6 million or something like that, I think.
Yeah. It overtook Action 1, and basically that Action 1 that it defeated is a high grade as well. But it's been a while since it's gone to auction, so everyone's quietly saying and murmuring when that Action 1 goes back up, it will take its #1 place again.
I saw a coverless Amazing Fantasy 15 on Instagram here, labeled for like just under $11,000. I'm sitting here going like, should I sell a few books? But speaking of AF-15 here, I had to have some part of the history. So this is the last book I have before the halfway point. And so when I found this on eBay, I had to buy it because I wanted to basically claim to have Amazing Fantasy 15. So now I can claim to own Amazing Fantasy 15. This is a single graded page.
Yeah, that's a first for this show.
Yes, I was disappointed when I was watching OnlySlabs and SlabHub, and I'm going like, okay, I think I can be the first person to pull Amazing Fantasy 15. And then I saw the video, he pulled it, and I'm going like, son of a good.
Yeah.
Hey, wait.
Yeah, I think we've had 3. But that's the first single page we've ever had on this show.
Yes, so I can claim to have the only page shown on OnlyFans. It is right beforehand, it's the Mummy story, which had a sequel in the recent Amazing Fantasy 1000 book. So it's really cool. So I bought this for like $350. I can now sell it for over $1,000 if I wanted to. But again, it's my connection to Amazing Fantasy 15 until I win the lottery.
Very nice.
So that's the halfway point.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you. Whoa. All right. Kids. I'm not even ready here.
Yeah.
I don't have this whole time. I don't have this ready. Don't have that ready. Don't forget, guys, tomorrow we'll have a special edition of Only Slabs. Same time, I'll have Dope Comics with us, and we will be doing our Halloween special. Um,
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's see. All right. Let me bring in the comment grabber. We're going to do our giveaway. So for those of you guys who've never been with us before, go ahead and enter in the hashtag here. We'll use Blue Hellion's Slabber Day. Go ahead and enter that in. And then in a moment, we'll do the comment grabber. We'll pull somebody. We'll get to pull from the box of comics, and we'll give away, get a lot of 6 books. I
Do
just
I get
added
entered?
more. You do get to pick for them.
Oh.
And I just added a bunch of ratios and some more signed books to the lot too. So some good stuff. Also, guys, while we're doing this, don't forget, I want to remind you that there's only about 2 weeks remaining. If you haven't voted in the CBC Awards, please think about going to cbcawards.org and consider this show in your voting when you're thinking about best collaborative project.
Yeah.
And what I forget what that. Oh, the other award. What is the other one?
That's ongoing.
Yeah, best ongoing series. Thank you, Chris. I can't even remember what we were nominated for, but
I'm proud of our nominations, man.
I am too. I just was
Yeah.
drawing a blank. I'm going to blame it on C3.
I'm hoping that next year my show, The Knockout, that I have a podcast for on my channel, as a comic book debate show. I'm hoping that it builds and it can get nominated one of these times here, because I have fun doing that. I like doing the whole who can win Superman versus Green Lantern kind of a thing, you know. So I have a whole thing. I'm in the final rounds of season 3 here, so we are
awesome
getting there too. So it's a lot of fun.
Terrific.
All right. So, guys, please, cbcawards.org. Don't forget to vote if you haven't already. Also, of course, don't forget, if you need to have comic books pressed and cleaned, you can use code FATSTACKS at the roguetraderutah.com, including off of already discounted bundled packages. You'll save 20%. Plus, when you use the code, $10 from your submission is going to Comics Curing Cancer. As long as we're saying Comics Curing Cancer, don't forget also Comics Curing Cancer. Go to the community section. You can click the link there. That will be you can still make donations year round until through the end of the year and have it count towards our campaign. Still, we're at over $23,000 right now. And of course, the merch shop, fatstacksmerch.com, where you can get your Only Slabs merch. All the proceeds from that shop go to Comics Curing Cancer as well. That was a lot of commercials.
Yeah,
It's what.
Anyways, let's see. We're getting our comments in here. We got 28 out of 31. I got pretty good. We'll go ahead and spin that. What the hell?
Let's do it.
What? Wheel of Fish. Boom!
Right.
Ragman Comics. Congratulations to you. All right, let's go ahead and pull this
Congrats,
on
Ragman.
backstage there. Let's go ahead and make me big. All right. Oops, let me put this out of the way. That does not I want that to fall. All right. Oh. We has us a box. Mr. Comics. Give me a number less than 10. Either from the front, the back, or tell me that you want it back to front.
Well, I've watched a lot of issues, a lot of shows, a lot of episodes of the show here. So I wanted to try and do something unique. So I wanted to stick your finger right in the middle of the stack if you can, and get the books on either side.
Okay.
And then we're going to test how well you have the good book shuffled in there. So I want the first 2 books of the back and the first 2 books of the front, and those will be the 6. We're going to test how good the randomization is.
All right. Now we got to draw 2 more.
Ah, okay.
Nice.
Well, since my name is 89, we'll do the 8th and 9th book from the front then.
8th and 9th from the front.
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the 8th and 9th simultaneously, or they pull the 8th and then count the 9th again.
Yeah. Well, basically the 8th and the 9th there, right there.
Together. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like I said,
Perfect.
we're testing how well the good books
Watch your
are.
back.
I try to do a good job of mixing them up. All right. So let's flip this over. Let's start where we started here. First book up, we have Sandman Dream Country. First appearance of Calliope. I don't know. I don't read this stuff.
Interesting.
But
Nice.
first appearance. Next book up. How about some Charleston comics?
Ooh.
Some Chick Young's Blondie.
So that's got a classic looking cover and it has a nice UPC code on it there.
Yeah, it's
Definitely
70s.
late 70s, I would guess.
Yeah, 76, I think it is. If I'm reading it right here.
Yeah.
So
I read-
Taylor Winder, who is a big fan of Sandman, is saying it's Cal EOP.
Cal I Opie.
Whatever.
Thank you.
Moving right along.
All right. From Amalgam Comics, how about Thorian of the New Asgards?
Nice.
Rob, I feel like they're borrowing something here on this cup. I don't know what's going on.
Well, it's a little New Gods, it's a little Thor, it's a little bit of everything. It's the mashup between
Asgard.
Marvel. It's Marvel and DC characters mashed together. This is the one that brought us the Speed Demon we gave away recently. You have Super Soldier, which is like the Captain America Superman combo. So
Spider Boy.
Yeah, Spider Boy, exactly. All right, this one has a. Ooh. All right. So we have Scotty Young.
Oh, yes.
Amazing Spider-Man #1.
One of the few Scotty Young cards I have.
Great cover.
With a Pokemon card.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Nickit. I don't know what that is, but there you go.
Some sort of fox.
Tell us, Chris, you're the Pokemon expert on this
Can you
show.
hold it up there again? I was looking to see if we had a 5-second
Oh.
cut of. No, I'm not familiar with that one.
All right.
Yeah. My knowledge of Pokemon really stops after that second generation. I had a few games I played as a kid, but I couldn't learn them all like I did before.
My knowledge stops after you say Pokemon. All right, so here's the book that got you your double pulls. The free comic book day Spider-Man Venom book. That
was the best cover for that year. I don't care what anyone says.
That's good.
Venom's muscles on top of Venom's muscles.
Let's go with next up. How about a Spider-Gwen issue number 4?
Oh, wow. Fabulous. Nice. It almost seems like a quiet homage to Burns' cover back in the 80s.
How about Warlock and the Infinity Watch, issue 1?
First collector's item. That's awesome.
And why is this in here?
Wow, we're gonna have to put Dale in timeout. Look at this. Gwen over MJ. What?
How about Black Panther issue 2?
Wow.
Wow. How did that get in there, Rob? Wakanda forever, man. Come on.
Dang. Whoa. You're welcome.
Congratulations there, Ragman Comics. Make sure you hit me up on the old IG with your information so we can get those shipped out to you. And if you don't know, it's at robs.fatstacks.
Yeah. And
don't have IG? No problem. You can hit me up on Gmail, robs.fatstacks@gmail.com.
And Dale, if you like Gwen over MJ, I got a bridge to sell you.
or if you can't catch any of those things I just said, you just go down to the comments and you'll see the link tree and you can get to all those things. All right, let's get back into ourselves a second set. I'll get in touch with you. Excellent. Let's go ahead and get into our second batch here. And matter of fact, I'm going to label these comics well. You show us what else you bring us.
All right, this is comic related, not 100% a comic book, but as far as I know, there's only 25 of these books graded because I think they're only 9.8, so there's only 25 of these there, so there's only 24 other books out there in the community. But like I said, Reggie Collects inspired me to collect Amazing Spider-Man, and I bought one of his signed guides to collecting with him and Dale, or him and Doug, not Dale.
Nice.
So, like I said, I only think there's 25 of these out there in the community, and so I bought it right when it was available. So, like I said, Reggie inspired my love of Spider-Man with his love of Spider-Man, and we kind of actually had a little bit of a race to collect a race that only I knew about, trying to collect a certain issue, kind of thing, because he was completing his issue collection at the same time I was. But it's one of those things where I like to support the community when I can. Don't have infinite finances, I can buy all stuff at auctions for C3 and all that, but I try to support when I can. That time I could. So,
well, you got the complete run of Spider-Man. I think.
Yeah,
I think we understand you don't have unlimited finances.
Yeah, my funds and goals were elsewhere for a few years.
Now it's time to work on maybe like complete run of Web of Spider-Man. That's highly affordable.
Web Spectacular, Ultimate. Yeah, I'm out there. But
Friendly neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't have many Batman books, but this is one of the books that I like. This is part of my favorite run of Batman, even though I think I'm not sure, is it canon or not canon? I'm not sure, but it's one of my favorite Joker covers is Batman 3 Jokers #1. So
it is canon.
Yeah,
I forget when it was.
It's canon, and then it's therefore helped to bring elements of the Killing Joke, more 100%. Into canon as well.
Yeah, 100%.
But I used this book recently on a Halloween special of Comigories for a host you wouldn't want, or like an unfriendly host or a friendly host you wouldn't want to be, or kind of a thing. I wouldn't want to be in Jokers for dinner.
Oh, from the New 52 when he was peeling people's faces off and like has the whole family in the Bat Cave and makes them think that they're eating their own faces or something. That was that was not a.
But yeah, I got all 3 books. I love the run. I love the run. Something about, I don't know, Jeff Johns, just great writer.
Yeah, Fabok did great work with those interiors too.
Yeah. This book I would have shown on my channel a couple of days ago, but for some reason the file is having a hell of a time uploading. I'm about 5 seconds away from just doing a live show and saying, here are the books finally. But I completed a full run of Amazing Spider-Man, but I didn't have the annuals. And so I'm working on the full run of annuals. I'm down to 4 left. And this was one that was just checked off recently. It is Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 16.
Ah, yes.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get this book before she made her appearance in the movie and all that. Since
Photon?
Yeah, Photon. I mean, I know it'll dip down again after the fact, like most books do and all that, but I wanted to buy it before and not wait for the cooling off process to be complete. So I bought it, and I figured, well, it's one of the more important annuals in my opinion, and so I bought it higher grade instead of trying to go for a cheaper copy. I still need to slab the wedding issue. I have both the variant covers. I just haven't decided which one I want graded more, the wedding suit cover or the Spider-Man suit cover. I'm leaning towards the Spider-Man suit cover because it's my favorite one.
Yeah, the correct answer is both.
Both, yes. Well, if I only choose one, do one first, obviously.
No. Well, you did both.
I have many interests in my kind of thing. Like I said, comic books were a late entry when I was like 28, almost 29 or 29, when I fully got into collecting comic books. And one of my interests beforehand is American history and politics. I mean, that nightmare people don't hate, other people hate. I find it fascinating. And I wanted every single cover of Amazing Spider-Man 583, the Obama cover. This is the 5th cover. And the only one I have it in 9.8. It's just iconic with the statue, with the Lincoln Memorial and all that. So I just had to have all the Obama covers because it was just really cool. So.
I like it. I like it a lot. I didn't know that they actually went that far into printing. So
yeah, if they had 5, including 5 of the Obama covers plus the regular Spider-Man cover. So I only need like 1 of these graded. I know I have 2, 3, 1 currently at CBCS, and I just need to get 4 done. So
If you like a political comic, man,
I
I should
like
say I got a trade paperback one to send you that you'll like.
yeah, I do
It's
like
it's a complete animated or illustrated and anime thing of the Mueller report.
yeah, I mean, that would be cool.
Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I don't have many political comic books because I don't, I mean, but I do like them because it's just funny to see certain things brought to life or
Yes.
creation. But this book I had to have, but I had to be selective about the one I got because I did not want a green label. It is the first appearance of Hobgoblin in
Oh
238.
yeah.
Nice.
So I got this from Instagram from a guy, Old Man Spider, I believe. I made sure I had the tattoos in it beforehand.
Right.
I got one without the tattoos, and that's my reader copy. So but came back in a 8.0. I almost like when they had the label come back CGC. It's like going like, do I want to send it in to get just to get the label?
Oh,
And
no.
it's not worth. I didn't think it was worth it unless I was trying to get a higher grade for whatever reason. But I love this Hobgoblin cover. I love the Goblin covers. Just
Yeah, because even sending it in for just as a reholder, you're gonna end up being. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can change the label on a reholder. But still, I mean,
maybe.
even if they allow you to, and all of a sudden you're going to like a situation where you're paying now with shipping and everything else, $60 something for a label change, and it's like, oh, wait a second.
And yeah, I understand Mad Spidey is not a complete run unless you have all the annuals, and that's also why I'm going after it. So I can have a complete collection because technically speaking, you can divide it. Annuals are slightly different, especially when not many of the stories actually count in its history. It seems like.
That's a pretty good 8.0. That's still a $400 book.
Yeah. It was really cool. I mean, I've almost wanted to start. I wanted to kind of. This is one of the covers I always eye when I'm thinking about creating a comic book painting. But then I look at the ripping of the details, and I'm like going, I'm not sure I want to attempt that. It's just like one of those things of I want to do it but never do.
So pretty good homage. There's been, I think there's been a couple, Dale, but I agree. I mean, I think it's not one that's done well often.
This book here, I got for a heck of a deal. In fact, I think the only reason I got this book is because someone bought it on eBay, never paid, and then I got it for $50 less when the person resubmitted or redid it. So I was like, this book is in such rough shape. I couldn't even. I barely peeked through enough to see if it was complete and all that thing, kind of thing. It's just in so rough shape that I submitted off to be great. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 14, first appearance of the Green Goblin in 8.5.
So I got the same one. I think mine's a 1 point.
Yeah! That one's from me.
Nice. But yeah, this one is literally because this, the story about this thing here is it's two large pieces reattached to cover with tape. Spider-Man was attempted to be cut out. And then one over here. Panel reattached to page 3, 10, and 11 with tape. Large panel cut out of page 12. Does not affect story. So that's a plus. Incomplete. So it's like.
But you know what? When it comes to some of these books, that's if you're gonna be someone who wants to complete the run and have the run, and you're not independently wealthy,
Yeah,
then you know what? This is what's gonna happen. Is you're gonna end up with some 0.5, some ones and stuff in your collection, and you just find the ones that present well enough that you can be happy with, and that's like exactly what I know that the ones I have remaining, I'm gonna end up being in that same range. Where it's like, okay, can I find one that's a 0.5 that looks good enough for what I want, or a 1.0 type thing?
And this book graded is like over $1,000 now, or something like that too. So it's.
Yeah, again, it's not a inexpensive book to say the least. I mean, we'll take a look here.
My copy of that is actually very similar. As I pull up my AS Home, mine is a completely detached cover, and it came back a 1.0, and I can remember paying $100 cash for it, and The guy let me look through it. All the pages were there attached. It's just the cover is actually just ripped apart. I'm like, okay, well, put the book back together, sent it off to CGC 1.0. I probably should have had it cleaned a little bit at least, but maybe would have got a 1.5. But 1.0, I'm happy with it because from issue 10 to issue 20, that is the banger of the bunch.
And like I said, Spider-Man here is where he was attempted to be cut out and looked like it was here for just the Amazing Spider-Man title. So that's the two pieces that reattached. But yeah, I knew I had to have this sent out to be graded as soon as possible because I was like afraid to touch this book after I threw it. And so it's like
this book, I actually now I'm excited. It's like this is getting down in the range on a 0.5 if I can find one. Is in a range now that's actually I can afford reasonably. It's one just sold about 20 days ago for $500, just over $500.
Oh,
nice.
So I mean that is the drop. But now, of course, in case you're curious, what's the range? A 9.8 would cost you 9.8 last sold 5 years ago for 71,000. So you got to imagine that at this point,
that's
probably it's $100,000 book
easily.
Yeah, Green Goblin is my favorite Spider-Man villain. I mean, I guess when it comes to villains and heroes, I am, as I'd call myself, unimaginative. My favorite villain is Lex Luthor for Superman. My favorite villain for Spider-Man is Green Goblin. It's their arch rival for a reason. So I mean, I'm very uncreative when it comes to picking favorites. But
Green Goblin's up there for me. I think I lean towards Doc Ock a little bit more for me, but I mean, Green Goblin.
I like Craven myself, but yeah, they're
right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Dr.
so many of them to pick from, and they're all good.
Yeah. So speaking of Dr. Octopus, this is the book that I was in unofficial competition with Reggie. He had this last book to complete his run. It was one of the few books I wanted to get because the upcoming movie. And so I purchased it. He purchased it. So it was a matter of who gets the book in the mail first. And when he did the video, it's going like, ugh. But Reggie was a good sport. He said we called a tie. So we officially tied in our unofficial competition. But it's Amazing Spider-Man number 3, 1.0.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So, tape around the cover here. It's kind of on the cover here, so it's kind of distorted a little bit on the color. But it's solid. It's my second favorite villain. I love Dr. Octopus. So
absolutely.
And I wanted this book for more too. This is just really fun. Number 3, and 3 I consider 3 my lucky number. I was born on the 3rd of the month, and so it's just one of those, kind of thing. I had I have a funny little goal that I don't know if I'll ever see in real life. I want like the first 5 issues of Spider-Man to be representative in their grades. ASM 1 and 1.0, ASM 2 and a 2.0, and kind of thing. But again, it's one of those I need a lot of money to, get there in that goal. So I don't think I ever would. Not a chance in hell.
Hey, you can, Mad Spidey, you can absolutely have it. He'll send it to you. You just need to send him a 3.0 graded one.
That's
right. There you go.
He told you what he's looking for. Yeah.
Free of charge. No. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I love, like I said, this, and that was like that book was probably like number 5 or 6 in my goal. When I was completing the first 10, that was probably 5 or 6, maybe 4 in the issues that I got. So it was one of those early books. This book was actually a hell of a deal on eBay. I got 3 books for $500, and the value when they came back from CGC was worth at least $300 more than the price I paid. So I definitely got my money's worth. It is Fantastic Four number 48, first full appearance of the Silver Surfer, and cameo Galactus, 1.5.
Awesome.
So
nobody's interested in that book these days.
That book's been hot for so long, all the way through the COVID bubble.
Yeah. Listen, and it's actually the top grade. Number 49 came back in a 1.0. Number 50 came back in a 0.5 because I think it was missing a page, and 2 idiots had signed it. But then again, it had the ship Brown on the cover, so I was like, it's definitely the loser of the 3. as far as covers go. It's just a shame they didn't have a
Two
different
idiots
cover.
signed it. I assume they were two idiots that had nothing to do with the book.
Yeah, 2 idiots had nothing to do with the book.
Okay. It's like
Yeah,
just,
I'm not talking about.
just
I'm not
thinking
talking. Yes.
some idiots, Stan Lee and
Jack Kirby.
Stan and Jack are not talking about.
Overrated jerks.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I said, this book alone is now worth more than the price I paid for all 3 books. So definitely just gorgeous.
hype is definitely still going on Fantastic Four, and hope that they're coming.
I don't have the best angle on my light. I hate that. Of course, slabs are another matter. These next 2 books I'm actually going to show. I bought from the same place. It's a little shop in Hall of Justice Comics and Collectibles in Parker, Colorado, suburb of Denver. So shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. And for a while, this was the oldest ASM book I had in my collection. It was the lowest number I had in my collection. Because right when I came in, somebody was literally there selling this book, the next book, and a bunch of his Silver Age ASM and related books. It was just like the awesome collection that was right there before me. I'm watching my mouth on the floor as the owner is going through these books. So I had to have this book because it was just awesome. It's Amazing Spider-Man number 5. It came back at a 3.0. So I paid
nice.
We can't give you more Remy's, but we will give you the benefit of just whipping it out and showing your meat.
Yeah, I paid like $250 for this.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
This is definitely before ASM.
I'll double your money.
No, you can double my money and give me a 5.0. Like I said, I want that's the goal. I don't think I'll ever have. So I came on OnlySlabs. I talked to Shop. He knew I was bringing ASM. That's my.
Bringing ASM is always a winner on this show.
Yes.
When you got two hosts that love ASM.
Yeah, and it's just
it doesn't even have to be ASM. We just love Spider-Man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. First appearance of Doctor Doom outside the Fantastic Four and the Fantastic Four cameo. So that is the cool thing about this book here.
Oddly enough, is the 5th issue. It's not even the first appearance of the Fantastic Four in the title.
Yeah.
Nope. Second appearance of the FF in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. And like I said, this other book there, those other issues I could have gotten, other amazing, another.
I wasn't going to bring his comment up because of that last bit.
Dale trolling the hell out of us here, man. Come on, Dale.
So, I wanted so hard for this book to come back in just 1 grade higher. It was just like missed it by a hair. One of these days, I'm going to sell this book and get it in a 5.0. But it's the very first appearance of Kingpin. It's a gorgeous red cover. So it's just, I wanted it in a 5.0 and I just missed it because something about like the alliterations, it's ASM 50 and a 5.0, just something about that, just like the whole goal. Just one of those books I just wanted it's one of those weirds. I don't know why that OCD or that goal is in my mind, but it's just one of those things that I want in the future. So if anyone out there has a 5.0, I'll
trade and some other stuff.
I'll trade and give you some money if I can afford it at the time. That's much. But yeah, that book, and the other book, and then at the time I bought a Submariner number 1 that I sold a couple of years ago, which I wish I hadn't sold a couple of years ago, with the movie coming out. But I paid like $700 for Submariner number 1, AF 50, Amazing Spider-Man 50, and number 5, and just a great deal at the time. All right. I got this book from a guy on Instagram. He's also on eBay, but I've gotten several big books from that person. I bought number 3 from him. I bought number 2 from him. I bought a book that you'll see later on from him. And so when it came time to get this book, I really wanted to get it from him. Something about supporting him, who helped me with some of my biggest Amazing Spider-Man books. And I came across Amazing Spider-Man number 1. It's coverless, but it's mine. So This is today this is the most expensive book I have purchased. So
Mine too.
So I have a facsimile cover that one of these days here I'm gonna put onto it and have to resubmit it or whatever, like staple it onto the book so they don't take it off or something like that. So that way it can display. But still, I'm a big supporter in that phrase, low grade's better than no grade. So I'd rather have a 0.3 than
I didn't know that CBCS did a 0.3, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
That's the big reason for why I do it. I said it to them because I bought it from the guy. It was a CGC NG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that drove me crazy. When there's a copy of the page of Amazing Fantasy 15, it was like, that's no big deal. But it was driving me crazy to look at that NG. And so I'm emailing the companies, what will you give this book and this, what will you give in this book in this condition? And CBCS would give it a 0.3, and a number was better than 2 letters. And so, never saw a 0.3. Well,
there you go. Yeah, no, they define. They'll also do a 0.1. So CBCS has incomplete for covers, cover lists, single wraps, or pages, and these designated are used only for these purposes. So instead of using the NG, they use that. So books that are coverless or otherwise complete will receive a 0.3, and then coverless copies that have incomplete interiors, wraps, or single pages will receive a 0.1 from CBCS.
Yeah, 2 different companies shop. You got to remember. I believe so. CGC just does the NG, then the 0.5, whereas now we're finding out CBCS does have a couple grades between 0.5 and NG.
Yeah, it's just one of those interesting things. I just had to have it. So this book here is actually the second time I've had this book in my collection. I sold it a while ago when my wife lost her job, and we needed $1,000 cash immediately to be able to cover 2 months of her bills. And so I sold this book, and at the time, my grade on my Amazing Spider-Man number 2 in a 1.0. I sold those 2 books, got the cash I needed to be able to cover us, because no way in hell I could have done it on my own. So I appreciate these comics a lot, that I can sell them if I need to and get cash for emergencies and things like that. But I had to have this book back. I particularly had to have this book back signed by this person, because I bought it signed from the person, or by the person. And it is Amazing Spider-Man number 300 by the Todd Father himself. So my original copy was a newsstand, but it was and it had Todd McFarlane, not T. McFarlane, but it was also a 7.5. So I traded a newsstand for a direct and a bump in a grade, basically, and got this. And this is another one of the books back that I look at the book and I realized I read this story as a kid in high school in graphic in trades and things like that, and I didn't realize it. It's one of those things like I didn't realize that I read a copy of Ultimate Spider-Man, Death of Kraven, Venom. I didn't realize I was reading Spider-Man already as a kid in the library until I get books like this and realize, oh, that's in it, kind of a thing. Just I love this cover.
The most homage cover in comic book history.
Yeah.
We definitely agree on that.
Yep.
Well, if you do something right, why not do it again? So it is a gorgeous book. So and the last time it was signed like here instead of there. So there's a few things I could technically nitpick on if I had to be picky, but it's just not worth it. I love having that book in that grade. All right. I bought this book just recently. I bought this book. It's the only signature I have by Stan Lee. I bought this. It's my only Stan Lee signed book I have. I didn't realize at the time when I bought it just how much I would appreciate this particular book from it. And Dale, you want to pay close attention to this book here. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 43, the first full appearance of Mary Jane, the love of Peter's life. So
It's a good
is-
one to have signed.
yeah, Origin of the Rhino, Mary Jane's first full appearance. It has a date stamp over here for those of you who like that kind of thing. I do. So September 12th. Just gorgeous. And I bought it at the time because I wanted a Stan Lee signature. He literally had just died and all that. So the prices were going to start skyrocketing on his books and things like that. And I just didn't realize until afterwards, going like the whole, I like Peter and Mary Jane. I support the marriage and all that. I believe they're married. And so to have him, Stan Lee, sign this book that had something so essential with Mary Jane was like, it was just fate, I guess. It just made sense. I need to fix my camera. What the hell happened? Yeah, we'll try and get it later, hopefully. But
No,
I'm sorry,
all
Dale.
these early,
You
all
can't
these
be a little
early,
bit pregnant here, man. You either are or you're not. You said
Yeah.
when, so now you made your bed.
yeah,
all these
Major-
early MJ books are great. For a while, one of the things I did when I was working on some of the ASM stuff was I found one of the definitive list of MJ keys, and was going making through. I had all the MJ keys, all the proposals, the not proposal, what are the first kiss, the first this, the first that. Make sure you had those all knocked off of the list because
yeah. I still need to get the first cover appearance of Mary Jane signed. It's sitting in my box, on my short box that are books to grade, but it never quite makes the cut for some reason. One of these days here, like again, I win the lottery and I'll have time to spend so much money. It'll make its way down there eventually. I bought this book graded from a guy on a YouTube auction. It was originally a 9.4. It lost a grade, unfortunately, after I had it cracked and signed. But it matches another book that goes along with it in the same grade. So it's the linear grades. It's cool. I don't mind anymore. It is Amazing Spider-Man 252, newsstand,
Beautiful.
black suit Spider-Man, signed by Brett Breeding, who was the artist on the interior, I believe.
yeah.
So like I said, he appeared at the Comic-Con and all that. I had him sign this book and my Superman book, and so I just had to have
a popular one.
That's iconic at this point now.
yeah, just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I want him to sign down there. I like, if it's not too busy, I like to have artists sign like just right there at the book sometimes, unless there's a blank empty space that fits perfectly. So just one of those gorgeous. And like I said, it came back in a 9.2 after being cracked, but it goes with this book. So
Very nice. A Magic 9-2.
Nice.
And look, it's one of those rare ones that's not autographed.
that's my shame.
No,
I
I'm
already,
just saying, you see a lot more signed ones than unsigned ones at this point.
yeah, but my thing is, I already owned this book by the time I went to my first Comic-Con and had Mike Zeck sign The Death of Kraven. And the reason why I didn't want to have him sign this book is because I already had it graded and slabbed. I didn't want to crack it and crack it and resubmit it, for whatever stupid reason I was thinking at the time. But nowadays, if I could go back, it would be one of those that's signed. Just because, because like I said, I heard now that Mike Zeck actually doesn't live in the United States anymore and doesn't really do any signings. So it's like, well, at least that's what I heard by somebody or something like that. So it's just like a chance of me ever getting him to sign this book. Because if I ever came across it, I would crack this book again in a hurry if I had the opportunity to have him sign it again.
Yeah,
So,
usually they're doing those triple signing things, and
yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't quite trust those just yet, just because something about me sending books off. I mean, I need to have like an example. I need to send like a random $5 book I don't really care about 100%, other than personal value, and then have it back. Because I need the experience before I truly trust something sometimes. And
trust
that's
isn't
just
how. I mean, I'm curious.
well, like if they make a facsimile of this book, and then I could send it off to Jim Shooter when he does a signing, kind of a thing. And then it comes back, and the book comes back to me safe and sound, and kind of thing. Okay, now I can trust that kind of thing.
So the gateway to drug to that Because,
Yeah.
by the way, guys, in the description down below in the link tree is a link to my list of upcoming signing events at either CGC, CBCS, or at some various trusted
Hmm.
by me facilitators. The gateway drug to this is the in-house signings, right? The CGC in-house signings,
Mhm.
where you're sending your book to CGC, they're having an artist come there to sign it, and then they send it back to you because you trust sending a book to CGC already and come back. It's just as anything else, right? So that's kind of the gateway thing into it. But yeah, going with a facilitator, going to like if there's a con that an artist that is showing up at that you're not used to, that that artist doesn't do a lot of signings, and that's the only time you're going to get a chance to potentially get that, or it's the last signing. Like recently, Paul Dini was doing a signing or whatever, and it was his last one, or Bruce Timm was doing a signing. You're sending a book off using a facilitator that, if you know them or you know somebody who has a relationship with them, is definitely something worth it, because there's a lot of people out there who facilitate signings, and there's a lot of horror stories out there. So I'm very careful.
Yeah.
I've had some horror stories, and even sometimes when you have good facilitators, there's issues that do go on with some of those signings. Understanding whether or not it's their, whether or not they're going to an event and having it signed physically there, or whether or not they're just facilitating, or with along with a couple other facilitators sending books to an artist to have them
Mhm.
sign it on their own. That can dramatically change how long it takes and what the overall experience can be. So
Yeah.
definitely it can be very interesting.
All right. This is the last book I have to show, and it has a small bit of a story behind it. So
All right.
a lot of fun. So, like I said, I went to my very first Comic Con in 2019. I was all excited to go to the next year's con in 2020 because Jerry Conway was going to be at the Colorado Springs Comic Con, 3 hours from where I live. And I was like, oh, I have a first appearance of Harry Osborn as a Green Goblin. I'll have him sign a reprint of 129 and all that. I'm really excited. So then I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm playing all that. And then 2020 happened. What event happened in 2020? The world,
Everybody decided to play Duck Duck Go.
yeah, the world shut down because of COVID. So everything got canceled. I'm like, no, I was gonna get a Conway signature on my Spider-Man books. It was just awesome. So I was disappointed. Well, by the time 2021, he wasn't there on 2021. That was the year Brett Breeding was there that I had signature. But this year he was supposed to be back at the con, and I'm going, awesome! I have a full collection of ASM now, including, I cracked my 121, my 122, which is the reason why I haven't shown them. If I had them still slabbed, they would have made an appearance. But because they don't make the cut anymore, I have to do that. So, but I had this book here. So I had the original copy of 129, and so now I can have him sign it. So super excited to have him sign it. And then I cracked the book, and then a week beforehand, he had to cancel for whatever reason. So I was crushed, like going like, "Go! I cracked this book. I was gonna have him sign it," and I was like, so it became like a mission. I'm gonna have Conway sign my book, come hell or high water. I ended up sending the book to a friend of mine, Southern Comic Geek, and he went down to Dragon Con where Conway was and had it signed. So sent it off to CBCS for verified signature, express grading, and it came back in a 4.0.
Very
So
nice. First
I lost.
sample.
It was originally a 4.5, but that Conway signature is worth a grade any day. Plus 4.0 just looked better to me than a 4.5. It just the round numbers. If it's not a 1.5, 0.5, or 7.5, I have a problem with 0.5s.
Okay.
That's just a weird thing.
Everybody's got to have their things and our
Yeah.
quirks that make us us.
Yeah. And the only reason a 7.5 I don't mind it is because my whole thing in high school, or my whole thing with grades in school, 70 is just barely passing. So 77.75 is better than a 70. So that's the only reason why in the grading scale I don't mind 7.5s. But otherwise I try to avoid them whenever possible.
All right.
But this is one of my top books in my collection, period, because I got my Conway signature. You know, gorgeous book, gorgeous cover. I have a painting that I did of just this portion of Spider-Man on my wall over here. That it's just, I love this book and just so happy. This is definitely like a top 5 books in my collection if I had to be picky about my books. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. That might be the most shown slab on our show. Is
Really?
the
You think so?
Punisher that the 129? Yeah, I think it might
Over
be.
ASM 300?
I think so. Now there's been guys who've had 5 or 6 or 10 copies. Of 300, but I believe 129 shows up in more people's hands than any other book on our show. It just goes to show the strength of the Punisher.
Well, Punisher, yeah, Punisher is a very popular character. All right.
but in a way, COVID was when it happened when the first thing canceled, because otherwise it would have had him sign a reprint and a first appearance of Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin. The delay in 2 years let me get the original to have him sign it. You know, so
Right.
that's worth a lot too. It's just that was this book here was a 2-year goal, basically, or a 2-year thing just to get all that. It's just I'm super stoked to have it, and super stoked that it came back in time enough for my appearance here.
Awesome.
So,
Well,
Terrific.
and what an appearance it was.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you so much for bringing those on. That is awesome. We love the Spider-Man, and I like that you started off with some DC for the people. So if you tuned in late and you saw all this Marvel stuff, wonder where the DC was, you just have to go back and watch the rewind. I'm not going to tell you what it was. I'm just
yeah,
going to tell you that it's the beginning of
Yep,
the show.
I designed
I designed my books in a way that I started with DC because that's where I started my collection, 100%
Yep.
DC, and then I shifted into basically all Marvel. So that's like the way I showed my slabs is the way my collecting
And
involved.
that works. That works. All right, guys. It's that time of the show. It's time for another set of giveaways. So why don't you guys go ahead and hit only slab as opposed to
singular.
only slabs? Yeah, it's only slab
Singular.
because I was distracted doing other things. And it's already
At least
So
he's
there you go.
honest.
only slab. There we are. So Mr. Comics, you got anything coming up on the old YouTubes as the scroller's going by, reminding people to check you out on IG and YouTube? Anything coming up on your channel in the next
Well,
week or so?
Well, I'm going to be doing a live show here of the books that I got from the video that won't seem to upload no matter how many times I attempt it. I have my ongoing 750 subscriber contest where the winner gets a big old stack of Spider-Man related books, Amazing, Spectacular, Spider-Girl, that kind of thing. And when I eventually get up to 1,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away an FF49.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
Wow.
You get
So-
those of you guys who are entering in, and make sure you double check. I see Tate and Johnny 5 Alive. It's singular today. Only slab.
But I got next week here. I got my a semi-annual or semi-round of the knockout debate. I believe it is Dr. Fate versus Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
The winner
so-
goes on to the final rounds.
Nice.
So
Cool.
Yep.
Mr. the Comic Vet.
So today, at some point today, I'll be dropping, I guess, my first of 2 videos showing some of the books that I received due to the C3 Comics Curing Cancer campaign last weekend. A lot of the stuff has arrived. I'm happy to show everyone who has a few moments, or in this case, a few minutes, to take a look at some of the books that I won and some of the books that I won via auction. And some of the stuff that showed up, there was a channel that was actually kind and threw an entire mini series in there as well for me to enjoy. So at some point that'll happen today. 2 cool guys, 2 hot picks will return tomorrow, and I will have a mystery box Monday. I will be opening actual Dracula's mystery box this coming Monday, and Wednesday, as always, it's a live New Comic Book Day hangout. Show us what you got, Rob.
Awesome. Oops, I highlighted the wrong thing. We're still wrong. I don't know where I went. The chat. I keep going to click on something, and the chat scrolls up on me. I don't click on the wrong thing. This week, guys, for me, tomorrow again, Dope Comics is on for a Halloween special edition of Only Slabs. make sure that you hit that notification bell so you know when we go live, because it's not normal for you, but you'll want to make sure you get that alert. It'll be all horror, pre-code horror type books. Then, of course, Monday will be another mail call. Thursday we'll do the I'm not sure what we're unboxing, but there's something that I'm going to unbox this Thursday. I got lots of stuff stacked up here. And then we'll be back again the following week with another episode of OnlySlabs. Guess I'm going to start working on figuring out what we're going to do for our 1,000 subscriber giveaway now that we're over the 900 mark and we're working that way. So again, thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my weird channel, and it's very humbling and I appreciate you. And if you haven't, please go ahead and do that, hit that subscription button and help us get to the 1,000. Because when we do and we turn on the monetization, all that monetization is going to be going to Comics Curing Cancer. God, I'm a broken record with this Comics Curing Cancer thing, but that's okay. If we cure cancer, I'll figure something else out to do. Am I going to dress up tomorrow? I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but you can dress up at home and watch it in your costume. Yeah. All right. Anyways, so yeah, that's the show. We'll do that, the usual this and that and the other thing. In the meantime, why don't we go ahead and spin this? We got 34 out of 41 people. Well, you were watching a football game, Kyle. Well, that's no excuse.
Was it Ohio State? Because that's an excuse.
No. All right. So everybody remember, it's only Slab is the not only
10,
Kenneth, it's not only
9,
Slad, it's Slab.
8,
7,
7,
and everybody got their singular.
6, 5, 4,
3,
2,
and
1.
Spin it, and you can win it.
A fish.
And our winner of today's chicken dinner,
Stephen C.
All
right.
Congratulations. All right, let's move that back there. Let's go ahead and do this. All right, Chris, how are we going to take care of Stephen C?
All right. In honor of Mr. Comics 89 being here, let's go 8 from the front and then 9 from the rear.
Yeah, I had to throw that joke in there when you mentioned how old you guys was. I have to throw in that, yes, 89 was the year I was born, just to make you guys go, oh.
Yes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
All right.
All right.
And in honor of my son being reversed and those digits reversed to 98, let's go 9 from the front and 8 from the rear. So you can start 8 from the rear there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tell you the front ends of this box, front and back end of this box get worn out.
All right. Let's go front to back then, Rob. Let's get in the middle.
Oh,
and
front to back.
Boom, right there. Let's take the one that's closest to the camera. Okay, and we'll go one more time as opposed to taking both those books. Now, and we'll take the one closest to the wall of slabs. Sorry about that, Rob. Okay, here we are.
That's all right. I'm the one who puts them in there front and back, and I try not to give away what we're doing.
Hey, you got to work for the good stuff, Spidey. You got to work for the good stuff. Here we go.
I took it easy on him.
First up here, Batman 517.
Oh man, look at Bane. Look at Bane without his outfit. My goodness.
Yeah, it's a weird looking Bane.
How about next up? Fury of Firestorm, issue 13.
Nice.
Nice. Nice.
Second printing, baby.
Yeah, I like that one. You know, I like that one most because it's blue. It's my favorite color.
That was the third printing. Yeah.
It's
that was red. The third one is the third one's the blue.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No. Yeah.
Rob, let's go. That's second printing. Yes, Rob, you're fine.
New 52 Batman, issue 26.
Nice. I've never seen that cover before. That's nice.
Love the Snyder Capullo run. Something is killing the children. Issue 16.
Right,
Nice.
the long-awaited return of Erica, that particular issue. Stephen C, that's my 4th copy. You can never have too many, man. You know what? The other copies, get those out for the kids for trick-or-treating. Let Rob send you his mint copy there.
Mike Becker approved.
Do we have new warriors?
Sleepwalker #1 holiday special.
There's a holiday special? That's awesome.
Apparently.
I don't know which holiday it is, but it's a holiday special.
Like, seriously, it really lends to, like, that could be Easter. That could be Thanksgiving. That could even be Canadian Thanksgiving. Looking at that. We have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Happy Diwali.
Okay.
All right, guys.
It's a huge holiday. Like, the Diwali is massive. Okay.
I know. we have those festivals at at work when we used to go in the office.
Very good. There we go.
They tried. Actually, I'm kind of curious. They tried to do a Halloween costume contest on Friday. I wonder how many people even showed up in the office. Anywho, guys,
Congratulations, Stephen
I appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us as we are now past the hour into a long one here today, but that's okay. We have the endurance now that C3 is behind us. So again, appreciate everyone who helped out with that. Appreciate Mr. Comics 89 for coming on, especially since actually this was kind of a shuffling in the schedule at the minute. I originally had him scheduled, but then I accidentally double booked and had to bump him. And then he got put on the standby list, and now he was able to then fill in when somebody else had a gap. So convoluted and a mess, but hey, thank you for coming on. Anybody else who's interested in coming on to OnlySlabs, we're booking for 2023 now. So you got plenty of time to get slabs. If you got slabs out, just ping me. Let me know. I don't mind booking people far out because with the holidays coming up in November and December, January will be here before we know it. Well, it's a good thing it's on rewind. Anyways, guys, until next time, make sure you collect what you want. Don't listen to anybody, including myself, because I'm just a fat man with a fat stack of comics and a fat opinion. Thanks for watching.